What is up, my G's? I just finished watching Rampage, and holy shit, what a roller coaster. That was such a heavy event. I feel kind of emotionally spent. The action sports are gnarly, but yeah, the consequence and weight of what happened at Rampage this year is just on another level. And this is kind of just like an initial reaction videos. I've got some takeaways. I mean, the event was lining up to be, I think, one of the best and most entertaining Rampages ever. And then there were obviously two super heavy moments with crashes from Emil and Adolf that definitely changed the whole vibe of the event. It's such a big event for the sport, but it also just kind of makes you question, like, damn, what are we even doing here? And this has been a concern for me for a while. Like, I'm always excited for Rampage, but also scared that there's a possibility of watching something really gnarly happen on live television. And yeah, I would say like two moments happened where it's like, oh, did we just watch someone die? Like I said, it just makes you think, like, what are we doing here? Is it all worth it? And I don't know what the answer is, but it just brings up a lot of questions. And I think this year is maybe a sign that these questions need to be like maybe addressed a little bit more. Yeah, I think a healthy conversation is like needed, because I think, yeah, for the whole mountain bike community, that was like somewhat traumatic. Those crashes were disgusting. So if it wasn't clear already, yeah, the first thing to drive home is that, yeah, I wish the best for Adolf and Emil. There wasn't a whole ton of information. It seems like both of them are at least alive and responding, great baseline, but yeah, I just hope that those two are able to make full recoveries, as well as all the other riders that were injured before in the men's and women's field. But if we can try and move on, I want to have a few more lighthearted takes about the whole event. Probably the best place to start is the judging. Always a controversy at Rampage. But this year, I'm not super mad about it. There's some robbery that may have happened here or there, but not on the scale that I think there's been in the past, at least from my humble opinion. Hayden, that was absolutely a winning run, but I think the thing is, the top four for me were all winning runs, and you could make the argument either way, and it just sucks that there's a massive difference in pedigree and just everything that comes with winning compared to fourth place. The disparity there is just massive in comparison to the disparity in between those runs themselves. But unfortunately, that's how it works in the current contest format. With Hayden's run, in the original live broadcast, they didn't show his middle section super well, but in the replay, you could see he had a sick nose bonk. And I think what really benefited Hayden was really his line. I think it used the elevation on the hill super effectively. You could tell, like, in that one jump, he goes back up onto the ridge line and then continues on the other side. And I think that allowed his run to flow really well and give him more time and trail to link together features really smoothly. Plus, he had that lily pad drop off the top that I think was rewarded quite well. But as a line to watch being ridden, it looked like it flowed the sickest. I mean, he did some really heavy moves, including that big, like, manual backy. That was probably one of the most significant drop tricks on the whole show. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was deserving. Tommy G in second and Tom Van Steenbergen in third both had super heavy moves at the top that were exposed and crazy. We saw the consequence with that drop up top with Emil's crash, unfortunately. Just insane. But I would say my first issue with the judging comes with Thomas Lemoyne. I was a huge fan of Thomas's run, and I think that drop at the top was like the rawest, hugest, most free ride drop it was like a huck. It was not a smooth point to point. Like, he was free falling, and I thought the exposure and just gnarliness of that drop, I don't know, got me fired up. Like, as a run that made a really strong impression, I think Thomas Lemoyne definitely hit it. He had a really sick manual line that was insane to get in the contest run. He did a super tech tuck no over a canyon gap, and like getting your nose down on a tuck no. I've done a handful of tuck nos in my life, but doing one on a step down where you have to nose in, super gnarly. And his run just looks smooth and sick and had a bunch of super powerful moves. But yeah, the top four, take it or leave it. I think they all squared up pretty evenly with each other. And yeah, Hayden coming in as a rookie and taking the win, I think it's deserving, and his run was badass. But besides the top guys, there was a lot of action, especially in those first runs. Bienvenido snapping his frame, doing the YT two-piece. Yeah, I'm glad he was okay. That was a gnarly crash. We'll get that out of the way. But YT being in the situation it is right now, the frame snapping definitely doesn't help. And for some reason, it's just funny. And they really drove it home and made sure to show him on camera walking down with two pieces of bike. They were like, hell yeah. Bienvenido's bike's in half. Like, let's really milk this. And so I don't know. YT, you owe me a travel invoice, so that would be tight if that got resolved. Yeah, maybe a bit of karma for leaving your racers out of a paycheck. I'm wondering if Bienvenido was even getting paid to wear that kit and ride that bike. But either way, it's ironic that the YT exploded. And then probably my favorite rider to watch was Finley Kirshenman, doing it for the kids in the Gen Z fit. Slides, baggy jeans, long sleeve, hardly any logos. And I bursted out laughing when he did his like no foot seat grab thing. Like, that's just like a meme trick. To pull it out in Rampage on a massive feature, and the drone shot just looks like he's falling out of the sky in like the most boned out weird position. I loved that trick so much. And then for him to like bail on a nasty 720, blow a shoe off, and like put his slides back on. I don't know. The kid is steezy as fuck. Finley looks like he's just out there to have fun, and it comes across in his riding. And he's able to throw super heavy tricks too. The front flip, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this kid's cracked. He used some Gen Z lingo. So hella tough ass run from Finley. Kid's built diffy, and I'm sure he'll be risen up the huzz after that one. Kind of on the same note, Jackson Riddle is freaking swag lord. The 3-star whip on the final jump was so sick. And that's kind of like a finesse trick. To do that in a comp and be so swagged out and extended with it is just dope. And then doing a backflip step down heel clicker is also just out of pocket. And yeah, I think it's cool. His whole vibe is to just do what he wants in the realm of a contest, but he's not really putting down like a contest run almost. So I like watching Jackson and Finley for that reason. Isn't necessarily going to be judged the best, but it's really unique and inspiring. Also, you know, heel up Adolf, but the wardrobe malfunction had me rolling, dude. Like, Cahal and the announcers cracking up in the background just had me dead. Like, I was like, what even happened there, dude? Like, hitting that step down all kind of boned out with his ass out. I mean, shitty way to end a contest run, like, especially with what he had on his mind. I mean, I don't know if he was going to do that first run, the double step down flip. To be thinking about a double step down flip, then like have your ass out, and that's why you got to bail on the run. Had a lot of mixed emotions, well, he was just probably pissed. But as a viewing experience, yeah, the first runs, it's like we got Finley swagging it out, Jackson doing 3 stars, Adolf's ass is out, Bienvenido has the 2-piece YT. I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. And then mixed in there was Simon's front flip crash, which was fucking crazy on its own. Another super heavy moment that I was super stoked he was able to walk away from. Just the heaviest riding and the heaviest crashes I think I've ever seen at Rampage. Cam Zink, I was really hoping he would put down a run. Another rider I'm just like kind of scared for. Like, I'm a huge Cam Zink fan, and you know, he's just been at it long enough. He's had a bunch of big crashes at Rampage, and especially him being on his own bike, being the veteran out there with a line that I think could have been a winning line. I was kind of heartbroken for Cam to get 2 runs that were pretty close, but not quite there. But ultimately, I'm super stoked that he just made it down safe. And that last 3 drop he did was huge and so smooth. Cam's had quite a few huge 3 drops over the years, but that was like by far the cleanest. But besides that, I would say the only guy that I think kind of got robbed may have been Tom Eistedt. It was just the disparity between the score from his first and second runs. I don't think represented what happened at all. Like, he did I think a significantly better second run, and it only counted for like a point. So he was pretty far down the order, but I think his run lacked some of the exposure and intensity that the top runs had, with the caveman, the lily pad off the top, you know, Tommy G's 3, you know, exposure 3 drop. So, but regardless, yeah, Eisted's run was super impressive. Emil's run, I don't think got scored super well either, but again, the other runs I feel like had a few more heavy moments linked into them. As the broadcast and event coverage went, I thought it was pretty good. I liked Tyler McCall being on the ground. He provided good insight. I don't know, he's just a cool dude. In the booth, I think the crew was pretty damn good. I like Nikolai's enthusiasm, but it can be kind of a lot at times, and he has a bit of an abrasive voice a little bit, but ultimately I think it works pretty damn well. I'm a big fan of Cam, and Caroline Buchanan I think did a great job too. And I feel like the coverage for the most part was really smooth and dialed. And then in the women's field, Robin took the dub with clearly, in my opinion, the best run. Sui's on the top drops, pretty technical line, crank flips, and then a backflip down low. Like, definitely the most jam-packed run. Hannah Bergman in second and Georgia Astle in third. Both super good. I mean, the whole women's field killed it. A lot of top to bottom runs that signified a ton of progression in the women's category. My only gripe is I feel like Cammie should have been in the conversation for the podium. That shoot that she rode at the top, I think, was an absolute standout and should have been scored pretty aggressively. I think it was Kyle Strait and Cam Zink opened that line like that, however many years ago. Like, that was a standout moment of that event for me, and same goes for this year. Like, anyone who rides that line has a ton of bike skill, and I think that should have been rewarded, and the rest of her run was really solid too. But besides that, probably my favorite rider to watch is Vinnie Armstrong. She's just a steez lord. I've seen her ride at a few different events and locations, and yeah, by far, I think has the best style out of the women's field, and it seems like no matter what, she's just looking sick on the bike. So in my opinion, she's the steez lord of the women's field, but overall, the event was super sick, and yeah, it's insane to see how quickly the women's side of things is progressing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about Rampage as a whole, and what we should be doing here with regards to safety and the structure of the event. I think there's 2 sides to the argument. You know, it's a professional action sport. These athletes, it's their job. They are responsible for the risk and the consequences for what they do, and they're just going to continue to push the sport. But at the same time, it's like the sport has gotten so gnarly that the winning run now is going to be in the conversation of just death-defying shit. And yeah, I mean, I watched back Adolph's crash a couple times, and he wasn't that far off. Like, it's in the realm of possibility to do a step-down double flip, which is nuts. But, and then, yeah, same with Emil. It's like, okay, it was totally within his realm to tail whip off that drop. It's just, you get it a little wrong, and the consequences start to be in the conversation of death. And it's like, there's other sports where that's absolutely a factor. Just not a whole lot of them are televised to like one of the biggest audiences in action sports. And I feel like the incentives to go there under competition conditions are really high. So what's your guys' take? I mean, I want to see the sport pushed, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to see someone die on live television. And the attrition rate for this event on all sides is just super high. And I think it's beyond what would be acceptable in many other sports. I don't know many other sports that are okay with a significant percentage of the field leaving significantly injured and having a couple incidences that are in the realm of like life or death. Ultimately I want to be entertained, and it was entertaining, but I feel like I have some emotional baggage from watching that event. So I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted, but let me know what you guys think. Is there a better way to run this event? Is Rampage kind of run its course? Is there a better way to do the judging? I feel like a tier list system could be worthy of consideration. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if there's any highlights or points that I missed in the broadcast. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff I want to cover just outside of Rampage. But I think for this video, I'll end it here. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.